Hello and welcome to another edition of News Showcase. I am Priya, Tamil Nadu's first artificial intelligence news presenter. Reports say Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold a day-long meditation at the Vivekananda rock in Tamil Nadu state later this month. The rock off the southern tip of the country, where Indian monk Swami Vivekananda meditated many centuries ago, has been converted into a memorial. The 73-year-old Prime Minister is expected to start his mediation at the site on the 30th of May. His visit will also mark the conclusion of the seven-stage national election in the country. Reports said days before the last election in 2019, Modi, dressed in saffron robes, meditated at a holy cave in the town of Kedarnath in Uttarakhand state. Modi's BJP is seeking a third straight term in the polls. He is challenged by the India Bloc, a grouping of over 20 political groups led by the opposition Congress Party. Latest reports say Cyclone Remal, which struck Bangladesh and northeastern India, has killed at least 16 people. Strong winds reaching speeds of 110 kilometers an hour, as well as deluges of rain and tidal surges submerged low-lying communities in the affected regions. About 1 million people were evacuated on Sunday evening as the storm approached landfall. Authorities said about 8.4 million people, including 3.6 million children, lived in the cyclone's path. The storm weakened the next day after passing past the Sagar Islands in India's West Bengal state. According to reports, there were no serious casualties on the Indian side, but road, rail and air travel was extensively disrupted, with nearly 400 flights cancelled in Kolkata city. In neighbouring Assam state, roads were flooded in Silchar city after heavy showers battered the region. The flooding slowed traffic and cut off key routes, which left the vehicles stranded. Rainwater also swept into homes and shops in the back streets and lanes in the densely populated areas. Pedestrians were seen struggling to carry out their routine work as flood waters swirled all around. Heavy rains also lashed parts of southern Kerala state, which left the roads flooded in several cities. The weather service said the state will receive rain till Wednesday, and the showers can be heavy at times. A passenger plane in Delhi was evacuated minutes before takeoff after it received a bomb threat. Reports said members of the Rapid Reaction Force took over the aircraft immediately, and a thorough search found nothing suspicious on board the flight, operated by budget carrier Indigo. Flight 6E2211 was ready for takeoff at the Indira Gandhi International Airport when it was stopped on the runway. All the 176 passengers were taken off the plane through emergency exits, and the aircraft was moved to an isolation bay for checks. Earlier in May, airports, schools and hospitals in Delhi received bomb threats, which later turned out to be fake. Recently, security forces arrested 3 men said to be members of the ISIS militant group at the airport in Ahmedabad. A court in Delhi has told Aam Aadmi Party leader Atishi to appear before it in a defamation case. The lawsuit was filed by her political rival BJP after she said it was trying to encourage her party's lawmakers to switch sides. The court ordered her to be present at the end of June. Atishi emerged as a prominent face of the party in the wake of the arrest of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. According to reports, Kejriwal himself accused his political rivals of trying to topple his government by trying to entice lawmakers. The BJP has dismissed the claims as false and demanded evidence to support the allegations. The two sides are locked in a bitter electoral contest in the ongoing national elections. The leader of the Dera Sacha Sauda sect has been acquitted in a murder case after he was found guilty by a lower court 3 years ago. The Punjab and Haryana High Court acquitted Gurmeet Ram Rahim in the murder of Ranjit Singh, a former manager in the sect in the year 2002. Rahim is currently in jail after he was convicted for the rape of 2 of his disciples and the murder of a journalist who wrote extensively on the sexual assault charges against him. The Dera Sacha Sauda, which is based in the northern Indian state of Haryana, is described by some as a cult which has a large following. Crowds of supporters clashed with the police at the time of his conviction. As intense heat waves sweep most parts of India, it has become one of the greatest challenges for troops guarding the country's borders. Members of the Border Security Force or BSF have shown exemplary patriotism to keep the motherland safe from its adversaries. Guarding the sandy and rocky terrain along the border with arch-rival Pakistan is among the toughest. As the camel-mounted troops keep up their vigil along the western sector, they protect themselves from the heat by using full-sleeved clothing with hats, face covers, and goggles. With weapons and eyes glued to their binoculars, the soldiers patrol the border and track movements from watchtowers along the international border to ward off any threat. The area is covered by the red alert for heat waves issued by the Weather Service. Hundreds of Kashmiri people have taken part in the spring cleaning festival in the south of the scenic valley. They arrived with their wicker willow baskets to carry out fishing and clean the springs, known as Panjat Nag. It is a century-old custom for the people of Kazigund in Anantnag area, which keeps the water bodies clean. The festival is held once a year, usually during the end of May. The residents believe there are about 500 springs within a 2-kilometer radius in the village. In the past, the festival has drawn the attention of the international media, which ran stories on the unique festival. The residents say the village should be developed to attract tourists to create livelihood for the local people. In the midst of international outrage of an airstrike that killed numerous Palestinians in Rafah on Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu promised to carry on the war against Hamas. The health ministry administered by Hamas reports that at least 45 people were killed, while hundreds more received treatment for shrapnel wounds, fractures, and serious burns. Netanyahu described the strike as a tragic mishap when addressing the Israeli parliament, but he also stated, "I don't intend to end the war before every goal has been achieved." He emphasized that Israel was doing its best efforts not to harm those uninvolved in the conflict, and added that Israel has to take every precaution possible to safeguard civilians. Algeria has requested that the UN Security Council convene an emergency meeting on Tuesday to discuss the Rafah strike. A top UK scientist has said there will be another pandemic and countries need to be prepared for it. The Guardian said, Sir Patrick Vallance, the former chief scientific advisor to the British government, cautioned that the future government should give priority for preparation against another pandemic. During his speech at the Hay Festival, he acknowledged the upcoming polls in the country and emphasized the importance of sorting out important issues. He stressed on developing better surveillance to identify new risks early as one of the most important issues. He reiterated his message to the G7 leaders in 2021 by highlighting the significance of quick action. According to him, easily accessible diagnostics, immunizations, and therapies could avert the need for the extreme measures seen during the COVID-19 pandemic. An album that is so valuable and uncommon that very few people have ever heard it will be on exhibit at an Australian gallery, providing the general public with a preview of the ultra-exclusive tracks. Once Upon a Time in Shaolin was intended to be a work of fine art and was secretly recorded over a period of 6 years by the Wu-Tang Clan. It is housed in an elaborate silver box, and there is only one copy on CD. The most expensive record ever sold, the album by the groundbreaking hip-hop group, has been loaned to Tasmania's Museum of Old and New Art. It will hold exclusive listening events over 10 days in June, when guests will hear a carefully selected half-hour excerpt of the album. The move comes just a month before the Euros football competition is scheduled to begin in Germany. The amount paid to the former England captain was not disclosed by the corporation. The European Football Association and AliExpress reached an exclusive e-commerce platform collaboration in March. The football star-turned-entrepreneur will represent AliExpress's Score More campaign, which will air during the games as part of the agreement. Since hanging up his boots over 10 years ago, Beckham has been associated with numerous companies and important athletic occasions. The Sunday Times Rich List states that Beckham and his spouse Victoria, a fashion designer and former Spice Girl, are worth a combined $581.6 million USD. Thank you for watching. I am Priya, Tamil Nadu's first artificial intelligence news presenter. Do tune in, same time tomorrow, for a roundup of the latest news and updates in India and around the world.